Well, welcome back. We are so grateful to have the Orlando International Airport, Orlando Sanford International Airport. Let's get that clear. With us today, please help me welcome Stephen Fussell, Chief Strategy Officer of the Orlando Sanford International Airport, for their program today. Thank you so much, Stephen.
All right. Thanks, Cheryl. And thank you, Paul, for that very thoughtful invocation. That was wonderful, right? I'm seeing a lot of heads nod out there. Yeah, I'm Steve Fussell. I'm with the Orlando Sanford International Airport. And so if I was to describe the Orlando Sanford International Airport in very broad terms, we're a special district of the state of Florida. The city of Sanford appoints our board, and they also approve our budget. So thank you if you're out there. And in terms of revenue, we're a tick over $40 million a year, roughly split between real estate development and aviation. A lot of folks don't know that part of our story. And as a special district, we're a local government. So we have a PD, police, and fire, and operate as a local government. And if you're a seasoned traveler or aviation nerd, you will probably refer to airports with their 3-digit alpha designation, right? Los Angeles is, right, Atlanta, ATL, Miami, MIA. Well, we are SFB. And years ago, our leadership team put meaning into SFB by creating an acronym: simpler, faster, better. Very meaningful, very meaningful. And it's meaningful today because and I've talked to several of you, and there are several friends in the audience, and you know this to be true. This is who we are. It was meaningful then, and it's very meaningful now, so much so that we put it on, when you drive into the terminal, that's one of the first things you see on the side of the building: simpler, faster, better. It's the organizational DNA of who we are, and it translates into a lot of economic prosperity for our business partners and for passengers, and especially you, our constituents. We're a big economic engine. We began as a naval air station, which is a really cool thing for an airport because now we have this 11,000-foot runway, which Gene can tell you is a very great thing and long. We can land pretty much anything that flies, including the space shuttle. It was designated as if you gotta come down, you can come down at Sanford, and we love that. It can't take off from there, of course, but we're good with that. Yet. That's right. Yet. Right, aerospace and aviation. So if you've been in our terminal, there's a PV-1 Ventura, World War II bomber that was carefully and lovingly restored and put in our terminal by local folks. So last year in October, our board gave the head nod to a new strategic plan where they could give us guidance, 5 points, principles we're calling them, that we would utilize to schedule our day, the things that they wanted us to get done. And at the very pinnacle of this is our new purpose statement: we provide opportunities to connect and prosper, and again, simpler, faster, better. Give you another little overview. We had about 3.1 million passengers in 2025, but we did a terminal expansion finished during COVID that we can take up to 6 million passengers. So we're out there looking for really, really good matches for that. Interestingly enough, we are a very busy general aviation airport as well. So with our GA numbers, we had over 400,000 operations And as of April, year over year, we're the 14th busiest airport in the United States. Think about that. And why is that? Akron Aviation, our school, a lot of that is touch and goes, so they'll touch and go. But if you talk to the folks up in the tower, that's an operation and it's extremely busy, a very busy airport. We have, I'm going to say 100% tenant occupancy. People move in, people move out, but we're full. And again, talking about revenue, a lot of our revenue, $20 million comes from parking, rental cars, and concessions, which you might not know that, right? We get landing fees, but this is our driver. Last year, Allegiant, our biggest carrier, had about a little tick over 11% increase in flights. That has moderated a little bit. There's seems to be a little bit of a gas crisis, and so airlines are adjusting, airports are adjusting, but us less so because we're still growing, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And for an interesting thing about the airport is we're also a foreign trade zone. So we have about 2,000 virtual acres that we can apply over the 2,800 acres of the airport. And the best way to describe a foreign trade zone is that if you're a aerospace manufacturer and you're making satellites and you come in and you make them at our site and you bring in your piece parts from all over the world and put them together, you don't pay tax on all the piece parts, you pay tax only on the product that comes out the door. So there are a lot of other advantages and it gets complicated, but that's probably a pretty good summation of how that all happens. Pretty neat, especially in the age of tariffs, right? Yeah. Zoom, I love that. We have a large catchment area, so we have a lot of the village people come down, use our airport. And surprisingly, look south down into Polk County. A lot of people drive past another airport just to get to us. And you know why, right? You're locals, you know why they do that. Simpler, faster, better, right? Local runway, global reach. So we have, we do domestic and international. We just had an inaugural for Columbia, Missouri yesterday. Allegiant keeps adding routes, which is really, really cool, especially in this day and age. We just started La Crosse, Wisconsin. In October, we're going to start Trenton, New Jersey. And in November, we're going to Dollywood. Our Knox, I know, right? We have a Dollywood theme. Allegiant has a Dollywood themed flight that is going up to, two flights, going to Knoxville and everybody together. What is the flight number? 925. I know, right? Yeah. Right. A lot of dads work for Allegiant. Just going to put that right up there. Yeah. Let's talk international. Let's talk exciting. So last October, we signed with Aerojet, the flag carrier of the Dominican Republic. I know, isn't that great? Super. So you can go over there, all-inclusive of Punta Cana on 737 MAX 8s that are brand spanking new and very, very comfortable. And Punta Cana is just a hub. From there, you can go to Argentina, Chile, Mexico. You can go to Brazil. Hooray! Whatever. I only heard Dominican Republic. Yeah, going to the DR and all places south. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And there's more. The Allegiant Sun Country merger, which we're very excited about because we already know Sun Country. They do charters out of SFB and sports charters. And so they're already in our common use system. This is a natural thing. As a matter of fact, they wrote a recommendation letter for us to Aerojet. So that's pretty cool. So they have a hub in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and that's great because then you can go to there and go to other places. But they also have international licenses, which Allegiant doesn't currently have, and that expands our scope to other places in Mexico, all points south, and so that's going to be a really cool thing. We're really looking forward to that. And breaking news. Yesterday, Bermuda Air announced that they are going to be flying to Bermuda from SFB beginning in October, and to Belize beginning in December with federal approval. We're still going through that process. We think it's just filling out the forms, but stay tuned. I think we're going to be good there, but we have to say that. So that's going to be cool. And then, perhaps, we'd love to see that expand to Turks and Caicos and all of that stuff. Belize in December, come on down. That's going to be really cool. So even despite the gas and the war and all this contraction of the aviation industry, airlines are seeing significant value in what we're doing, and they're wanting to partner with us. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And we're making headlines in other ways too that really contribute to this. Leisure and travel and leisure, just in January, ran the numbers, and as of January, we were the most affordable airport in the United States. Yeah, which is really cool, right? Yeah, and we have, and those of us who work at SFB know that we have a very, very sharp pencil, and that's one of the reasons that we can do this. Our cost per enplanements running around $2.80 per passenger. Our larger neighbor, they're north of $11, and that's why a lot of airlines, especially in these times, are looking at simple, faster, better. Good news for Allegiant too. We go to a little over 70 destinations with Allegiant. We're their largest base, and just ran the numbers, and they are actually, Allegiant now is actually the number one they are the most reliable airline in the United States regarding cancellations. I think it's 0.82% of cancellations. Delta was the previous holder of that title, and they're number 6 now. So Allegiant is really stepping up, and we love having Allegiant. Great partner, great partner. They pay a lot of my grocery bill, and just saying that right out loud. Connection and community. I mean, we're here. You see us. We are very engaged in the community, and we love the idea of ensuring that when travelers come to SFB, they know where they are geographically. We're very tied to the city of Sanford. We're very tied to Seminole County. And as such, we just did a $7.2 million renovation where we went in and reskinned and upgraded our concessions and retail spaces with a Sanford theme. And that's really, really, really neat. So come down. We added 2 restaurants. We added a nature table. And who else? Hollerbacks. Yeah. So if you're, if you need to be healthy, you can go down to the nature's table. But, if that schnitzel is calling your name, you can. Right? You're on vacation. You're going to Bermuda, for goodness sakes. Right? Live a little. Being a former naval base, we are very tied into the veterans community in the area. And we work with 2 nonprofits to do honor flights. We did 3 honor flights in May, right? They're usually full. Chef Michael gets there at whatever o'clock in the morning, and generally the folks start coming in, the veterans and their escorts. Escorts pay their own way, by the way. They come in between 4 and 5 a.m. They fly to Washington, D.C. They give them the red carpet treatment. They do the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and they do the memorials. And, it's just great. They just treat them like the royalty they are. And then what happens when they come back to SFB? We have a big welcome home celebration, right? And that is very significant. These are World War II, Korean, and Vietnam veterans. And everybody loves a welcome home celebration, but nobody loves it more than Vietnam veterans who might not have had that opportunity the last time they came home. So it's very significant and special. There's a World War II vet right there. We still have them every once in a while on the flights. Yeah, right? Once a year, we have Aerospace and Aviation Day, where we invite Seminole County students in. We have a lot of ties and friends in the military and civilian aviation that they bring planes in and helicopters where you can go and students can get in them and, look and and have the walkthrough, and some even get free flights. And this year, I think this past year we had, we had 3,000 attendees. So it's just a great thing for the community. Yeah. And we are talking to folks, with this international expansion, that might give us some opportunities for cargo. And it also might give us some opportunities, for companies coming in to develop, international companies. And so we are constantly meeting with organizations and representatives, from other countries, to discuss opportunities at SFB. This was just a few weeks ago, a Latin American delegation that came by, and we gave them an overview. All right, and there are development opportunities at SFB. We have about 500 acres of greenfield, and I don't know how many acres there are left in Seminole County, but 500 acres is a lot, right? We have 200 acres available for redevelopment, and we are looking for those matches. And the great thing about it is that we have partners in all of this. I just talking with Cheryl about how Seminole County organizations partner, whereas perhaps some organizations in other counties, other places don't partner quite as well, and we do that. So when we have a developer come in, we like to have a lot of folks at the table, and you respond. We like to have, Seminole State is there, and Seminole County Public Schools, because what's the first question they always ask? How are the schools? If it's a high-end company, if it's a company that we want, and it's a company that's a good match, that's what they're asking about, the schools. And of course, the Orlando Economic Partnership and the City of Sanford. All of these organizations pull together to look for really, really good matches, because there isn't much land like this available. We want to make sure that that this drives economic prosperity when we begin leasing out this land, right? And we have a lot of organizations already at the airport that are doing great things with regard to aerospace and aviation. Millionaires, our fixed base operator for concierge services. So all of you out there that have a Gulfstream jet that needs a wash and a wax, and you can get your nails done, while you're waiting, you can go down to Millionaire. It's very inexpensive, mind you. It's very, yeah. I'm the guy with selling you the $19 Cuban sandwich. Akron Aviation, there are Flight Academy, 700 students, about 80 planes. While we're the 14th busiest, and Avocet, FlexJet, number of organizations, MROs, and all kind of aviation aeronautics. There's a lot of business going on at the airport. Yeah, we have 3 new hangar projects going on right now. This is kind of the what else is going on slide. A new remote parking lot for those of you who have walked across our exotic grasses to get to your destination. Argentine Bahia, right? We have a call for art, so we're there's a lot of white space on the walls at Orlando Sanford, and so we're filling a lot of that with local art. We're also filling a lot of that with advertisements, though, because Lamar is helping us recognize the value in that. We have a new playground in the terminal. I'm looking around. I'm seeing several people that I think would actually get on one of these black bears or manatees, and and there are adult beverages located close by, so we can get some shots. New hotel, big. And that's big. 111 rooms, Comfort Inn. If you walk inside, you can't hear the airport, and it was designed specifically for that. But I'm here to tell you, see where the air show returns 2026? September 26th and 27th, I can't guarantee that you won't hear that F-22, because, man, that is a loud thing. I can remember them coming in with that a couple of years ago, and I was sitting in my office, and I'm like, what in the world was that? Like a muffler dropped off one of those A320s for Allegiant. And I think I showed it, but I don't think I mentioned this. The FDOT did a study in 2022 of the economic impact that we have on the region. $3.5 billion. $3.5 billion. And I'm telling you, a big number. We're having Fishkind and Associates validate that. We're in another economic study right now, and we'll have the results pretty soon. We think it might tick a little higher, but stay tuned. Oh, And I just showed you a picture of where where this facility rendering to be determined is going to go. This is the new indoor sports and events complex. That's a long term. I call it the Gee Arena. Right? Right? Fergie Kuna, our TID master extraordinaire. So it's going to be pretty cool. So here's the idea, is that, up to 300,000 visitors a year, I think, 170,000 square feet, about $170 million project. County Commission just approved it to go out for RFP for design. So, it'll look something different than this, but this is a rendering. And here's the pitch. We're filling this thing up. We're filling Boombah up. They're flying in on SFB. They're staying at the Comfort Inn, or maybe a little bit of a further drive, right? Staying, over there, or another hotel. And then they're flying SFB back, and in the meantime, they're all in downtown Sanford, getting in some brews and some really great food and experiences and buying some stuff. It's just a great opportunity. All right. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention procurement, because, since we're a local government and a lot of businesses out here that provide goods and services that the airport can use, make sure you're on our list. If you go on our procurement site and you sign up, you can sign up for the lines of business that you're in. And then when we have a solicitation, we will mail you that, hey, by the way, we're looking for janitorial services, or we're looking for some IT thing that I don't know how to pronounce, or something else, and you need to be bidding on it. So, Roberta Stanton is our procurement director, and like I said, we're local government, so we need to ensure that parity, and we love doing business with, local folks. All right, so that's us. I know, right? Yeah, we were doing portraits, and she said, do something crazy, and we had it spinning. We had it spinning, and it's not spinning. So with that, do I have time for questions? A few questions here and there? Yeah? Some maybe I can answer, some maybe I can. All right. Yes? When are we flying to New York? You mean like New York, New York? New York? We fly
Yes,
close.
New York, non-Liberty Airport.
No. Yeah, you came prepared. We would love, and that's our thing. We would really love to fly to a hub. And Minneapolis, St. Paul is going to give us that, but yeah, we are in. If you will partner with us to, talk to whoever we would love that. I mean, and it's something that we really need to do. We're a small hub airport, so as we grow, this is the next thing. What you say is the next thing that we really need to do domestically. Absolutely. Yes, question?
There you
Are you flying to Boston?
We really need to. Yeah, I tell you, if anybody has contacts with any airline, and we want to make sure, we go and we talk to these airlines, but one of the things we want to make sure is that it's a really, really good match. There's prices, and there's, what kind of revenue can we get and everything. It's always a discussion, but I'm telling you, brother, we'd love to fly Boston too. Right over here.
How is the all IS-5 different from the current TYS that's already booked?
Tchotchkes. You're gonna get a piece of relatively new cake. I'm trying to pitch that in the best way possible, and some good trinkets. Raul?
It's a better question, but it's a partnership with Dollywood Beaches and the airports, so it's a specific event for Dollywood.
But I'm assuming there would be travel back and forth to the actual Dollywood Park, because it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, so the first flight when we announced it is sold out, so now there's 2 flights in the same day. So it's a whole event with Dollywood. They're going to send over their team and everything, so it's going to be.
It's going to have like in-flight entertainment, live music, trivia.
Is there a connector? Is there a person to contact if you want to buy it out for an event?
Thank you very much. It's been great to be here. All right.
Wait,
Oh, sorry. Oh,
so with the
Has to be.
demise of Spirit, I read a lot about JetBlue expanding in Fort Lauderdale. Any hope of bringing them up to SFB?
yeah, we're always trying to discuss with airlines, potential opportunities. One of the constraints that we've experienced lately, we've been preparing for this for years to expand with larger airlines, and now we're ready. But what has happened recently, we had the Boeing issue with the doors, and which is fixed, by the way. How many doors fly off in a very long time. And now with the gas crunch and some other things, and the construction of planes, there's been some constraints there. But I think if we can get this gas thing under control, I think that we will start talking to organizations like JetBlue, trying to find a match, because our bread and butter right now is Allegiant. We need to make things that are amenable to everybody involved. Okay, and I'll let you choose the next, whoever has the microphone. Okay.
With the changes in property taxes that are coming in the future, right? And the uncertainty if property taxes will continue to be something that is generating revenue, how does that affect you guys? Does it affect you guys? And are you concerned about the long-term effects that might have an impact on the airport?
Yeah, that's a great question. We are concerned about it, less so because we're self-supporting. And in that, I want to qualify that. The county and cities do at times, through programs, do things for the airport. It's specific if they're very specific, but mostly we generate our own revenue, and then with FAA and FDOT grants, we utilize those grants as well to do larger capital projects. So it doesn't affect us as much as local government, but I think where it perhaps will affect us all is that if you don't have infrastructure, if you don't have the appropriate infrastructure and up to date, and if you aren't a desirable place to come to, where the roads are great and everything's running good, that can affect travel, your travel plans. Oh, sorry. I'm going to watch the microphone.
Yeah, good morning. Is there developers, design teams that we could align with on the future projects of future development that we could, or somewhere we can go to find that information out?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now, when we go out to solicitation, make sure you get it on our procurement site, because when we go out for solicitation for things, we do that. Most of the time, we are one step removed from that, but we do have for development needs, we have consultants, ZHA and RealVest, that help us through that maze, and would certainly be willing to contact me. We can share information to kind of get you dialed into that, because oftentimes we aren't as much involved in that as we are in this is how much our lease is going to be, and who we want to have and who we don't want to have.
Hi, I'm going to do a happy story, and I'm going to first, Paul, that was so good when you talked about what does flight mean, connecting. Allegiant, the day they picked up Charlotte Concorde was the happiest day in my life. My daughter, 2 little boys, and I'm not kidding, I wanted to scream, oh my gosh, flying every single month for like $85 to go to Concord and see. And when Allegiant had a table one day, I hugged the guy. I said, you changed my life. I was the happiest grandma. So well done, Allegiant. I adore them. We have planned our vacations kind of Allegiant. I have a family one place. All right, let's see where Allegiant goes. And we have done that. So Yahoo, love you.
Thank you for that. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, there's, and your grandchildren. That's our safety management system director. He says SFB stands for Safer Babies. So,
how many flights to Trenton will there be?
I don't know initial flights to Trenton. Raul, do you know? Yeah, that's right, twice a week. Yeah, twice a week, and hopefully more as we go along. But I don't know. I'm not sure what the days are. Maybe we'll connect with you. Oh yeah, yeah. The more people go to Trenton, the more flights we'll have. I'm just putting that out there.
We have time. Then I'm just saying.
There you go.
We have time for one more quick question, if anyone has any more. Last call.
All right, good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks for having me.